Congratulations to the both of you for Team Marco.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gig. Thank you.
Not a problem. Julio, let's start with you. Where did the original idea came from for a family film such as Team Marco?
Right out of my sister's house. I have 6 nieces and nephews. I have a nephew named Marco, and I was at their home one day, and Marco loves his iPad and his video games, and he didn't look up from the screen when I walked in, and suddenly I just became my grandfather, right? I was like yelling at this poor kid to get up and give me a kiss and a hug, hello, and get off that damn thing, and suddenly I was the older generation. It happened very, very quickly, but it happened, and it was a strange moment. And the rest just kind of, that's the moment that the movie was born. And Marco has a grandfather on his other side of the family who plays bocce, and so the story kind of wrote itself as we sat down to script it.
Wow. And what about for you, Anastasia? Why did you want to do a film like this? Because it's a little bit different from some of the previous stuff you have done.
Oh, definitely, which is the exact reason I was very excited to throw myself into a role. I really couldn't hide behind any of the stuff I usually do. For a lot of my career, I'd say it was a little typecast. We were cast in the same role for a really long time. And this was very exciting for me. I was in a very vulnerable place. I had just had a baby. I was dealing with some issues at home, a very sick parent. And it was actually exactly the perfect timing to throw all of that creative energy into such a special movie. I read it and immediately knew I wanted to be a part of it. I recognized very beautiful writing, super rich characters, and an opportunity for me to kind of show my stuff. It felt very, very much, a part of me. So it was one of those organic things where Anna felt like I knew her.
Julio, how much did you really know about bocce ball? Because the film is mostly a lot about bocce ball, and I've only played bocce ball twice, but I have never seen a film of anyone playing bocce ball, and now I can say I've seen everything.
Well, Gig, if you knew me better, let me tell you, no one would ever have guessed my first feature film would be a sports movie. So it's something I played growing up for sure. Mostly I played cards with my grandmother and my grandfather, but cards are not very cinematic. So when we started to dive into bocce and to the story, I kind of fell in love with the game, and we had a local bocce team on Staten Island, the Staten Island Bocce Club, who were part of the film. 3 of them are in the movie on the bocce team. And I would go down and visit them at their practices and their tournaments, and spent a lot of time on South Beach on Staten Island working with them and getting to know the game as best I could. And then they were on set with us every day, making sure that the court was perfectly swept, making sure that it was ready to go, and keeping me, keeping me straight about exactly how the rules and the game was played.
And Anastasia, how does it feel that you're the only one that didn't play bocce in a film like this?
I was very happy to watch from the sidelines. I mean, the cast that made up all the professional bocce players, they were just incredible. And I actually got to spend a lot of time with them because we did work outside around the bocce court a lot. So I thought it was really interesting getting to know the game. And Staten Island serves as one of the main characters in the films, and the bocce just kind of pulled it right out of where we were. It was really fun.
Did you even try to play with anybody on the set production?
I think I definitely played at some point. I think there were some cuts that didn't make the film, and I roll a ball at some point. It was edited out, but I got down on the bocce court.
Was it edited out because you weren't good, or was it you were too good?
I'm gonna have to go with the second. I'm too good, and we can't have mom being too good at anything.
Julio, Tell us about casting Owen and Tony for their respective roles, because they were perfect for each other. And how did you manage to have those two develop their chemistry?
We searched far and wide for the both of them. Owen came to me through a recommendation from my sister, actually, who had seen him in Daddy's Home and who was singing his praises. And we met over Zoom one day, or actually I think it was FaceTime before Zoom took over the world. And he actually auditioned virtually, which was wild. And I really fell in love with him as a talent. I think he's incredible for a young person to have that much heart and wisdom in his body, in his eyes, and his face. I think was very special. So Owen was definitely a find for us. And then Tony walked into the audition in New York, and he's done theater for a long time. He was one of the principal cast members of Tony and Tina's Wedding. And so he's very familiar with this world of the movie. And he was the only audition who didn't come in and say, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?" You know. So I knew I was working with someone who sort of knew what I wanted and what I wanted to portray and what I wanted the character to feel like and think like and express like. And so it was immediate. I saw him perform, and he transformed. I mean, when you talk to him, quote unquote, in real life, he's 20 years younger and spry and energetic, and obviously speaks perfect English as an American actor. But as soon as he transformed into the character, he just absolutely became Nonno. And their relationship was formed on set. They spent a lot of time together. Obviously, they have a lot of scenes together in the movie. But I made sure that they spent as much time as possible, both with Owen and with Owen's own parents, who were on set as well, just to foster as much of a family vibe as we could.
Anastasia, how did it feel that you were that bridge between the two generation gaps of the boomer and the millennial? Because as someone myself being an X generation, I just like to see things burn. So between those two generations, how does it feel playing that type of character, that bridge?
Very real and very good. It's something that I am doing in my real life. I have 80-year-old and 75-year-old mother and 5-year-old and 2-year-old children, and it is essential for me to be able to bridge that and make the children aware of who they are, where they came from, and it's such a gift in turn for my parents to be seeing this new generation come up. And I think it's a special thing when you can merge the two and find that connection. It's a very profound thing to watch as a parent. So for me, it felt really good to spread that message.
And which generation do you tend to be more like, towards the team Owen or the team Tony for you?
Oh Lord, definitely. I think I appreciate Tony's, and I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think it's all about just. I think the connection thing is really important, and trying to find balance within the two. I really am. I'm in the middle, and I like to pull from both.
Julio, tell me about the importance of bringing sort of like this Italianness into a film like this.
So for me, it was just special to show the world my hometown, to show the world the people that I love and the places that are close to my heart. But the movie is really for everyone, and it's about every culture and every family. And I always believe that the more specific something is, the more universal it can be. So I wanted to make sure that there was real attention to detail, and that there was something that people understood, that this was a real place with real people and real relationships. And then, hopefully if they're not Italian, they recognize those relationships within their own family as well. So it's definitely a movie for everyone. But as an Italian American, it was important to me to tell a story from my hometown, and also, frankly, to make a movie about Italian Americans that's not about the mafia, not about guns, and not about sort of the things that we see a lot in Italian American cinema. People have done it before. They've done it way better than I ever could. So I can appreciate those movies and love them, and lean into something else for my own work.
And Julio, and I want to remark that you got to direct not only a generation of kids, you also got to direct generation of older adults. Talk about directing two different types of groups into the same film.
They're all the same. They all need to eat and they all need to pee all day long. Okay. They, you know, they were wonderful on set, and it was so funny because I have a lot of actor friends who were my generation who kept saying, "I want to be in your movie." And I said, "I don't have any parts for you." You know, there are two people of my generation in the movie, Anna and Richie, who's played by Louis Kinselme. But everyone else is either a senior or a young child. So I had a good time, you know, like Anastasia. I, in my own life, occupy that middle space, and I am that middle generation. So I have a 95-year-old grandmother who's with us. She's actually in the movie. She is the Nonna character, the grandmother who dances and appears in her bathing suit in the vintage films. That's my grandmother. So she's with us. So I am used to interacting with her and talking to her about her life and her experiences. And then I'm the uncle of 6, and I'm now exposed to how children are being raised now and what their lives are like and how tech consumes much of their time. So I see both of them. So I hope that helped on set to be able to relate to both of them.
Excellent. And I think the ending to this movie is quite different and unexpected, but very beautiful. So Anastasia, what did you think about the ending without giving anything away? Because obviously Julio loves his ending.
I mean, I
There's
think,
great
you know,
debate among the casting crew, so.
I think, you know, I think I like this message of everything we kind of accomplish in life is feels a lot better when we're helping others. And I think that's a theme we see throughout the movie. We see Anna helping Owen get to know her father, and her father helping her heal. And I just see all these gifts, you know, coming together. And I think we see the benefit of human connection in the end, and why it's an essential part of why humans exist, you know, before this whole thing with technology ever happened. So it's very beautiful, and it's very emotional, and it's uplifting and hopeful. And so I love that.
Excellent. Well, one more thought before I leave the both of you. Right now, we're living in crazy times. So I would love to know is, for the past few weeks or few months, how are you both staying creative and sane during times like this?
I am throwing myself into a into a food project. I'm starting an olive oil company from Greece, where my family is from, and it's something I've always wanted to do, kind of manuscript all of my family's old peasant recipes from the small villages in which they were born. It's something that's been on my life bucket list forever, and so the quarantine's actually really helped me propel through that. I'm also reading wonderful scripts. I've got into audition for a few lovely projects. So for me, it's actually given me more liberty to actually be creative, because it's given me time. And so while we pray for those who have been affected, and they're in our hearts, you know, I've really tried to take advantage of the time to be with my family and be creative.
Julio?
I'm doing a lot of running in the park.
Beautiful.
I think the pandemic has, if the movie didn't do it, the pandemic has reignited my relationship with the local parks, because I love spending time getting out of the apartment as much as I possibly can. We live slightly smaller here in New York than in the rest of the country. And so it's really good to get out and get the fresh air and make sure that I'm connecting to nature in any way that I can.
Mhm.
And I'm doing a lot of writing. I think this is a time for creative people to take a deep breath. And, you know, we're forced to be patient at the moment in the world. And so for myself, at least, I'm using that as an opportunity to get a lot of writing done and put pen to paper or finger to keyboard on some other projects, which has been really fulfilling.
Excellent. And one quick thought, just from you, Julio, because Anastasia just admitted that she's Greek, and Tony in my previous interview also admitted that he's Greek. How did you feel about that?
I didn't even know until after like the table read. I full on thought Tony was Greek, and we literally had that moment. I thought he was Italian, and we had that moment where he said, "I'm not Italian, honey. I'm Greek." So you got to be kidding me right now. I was shocked. I thought he was Italian, like totally Italian.
My only prerequisite my requirement for my actors were that they be good. That's it. I didn't care who walked in the room. I just wanted good actors doing good work on a good story. And I think that's what we got. So.
Excellent. And I think all of you did a great job. Hey, thank you for speaking with me.
Thank you, Gig.
And hopefully we get to do this again. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gig.